Well, good eve. Oh, rather, good morning, everyone. Good morning to people in the West, and happy evening, everyone here in the East. We are back with another Christian ethics episode, and it's a very late evening here for me. I will be allowing people to get in the site, to get in the stream as soon as I'm done with my reading, so you guys could also share your thoughts. And right now, we have people chiming in here. We have Christian Carpenter. Welcome, brother. And Jesse. How are you doing, Jesse? Yes, good vibes indeed. Good vibes. So, we're going to be delving into two wonderful verses which um, tell us the value of keeping our words few and keeping our mouths shut, which can also be two very wise choices and two very wise things to apply, lest we say something that is unethical or detestable or disgusting, and that we learn to not be ostentatious. Now, this doesn't mean that being eloquent is a sin. In fact, being eloquent is fine. But there's a difference of being eloquent to get your point across, and there's a difference between being ostentatious. Like, sorry, I sipped my tea there. There's a difference between just using beautiful words but without substance. And ostentatiousness can also refer to somebody who's, I mean, basically, the guy is a Dunning Kruger. He's just showing that he knows about this thing. But what point is it if it's something that people don't know about? And the embarrassing part is that people will say, English, please, which means, to put it in simple terms, I mean, that's also another way of calling someone a smarty pants, and it's in a very derogatory way. Anyway, we're going to go through the outline now. And here we have it. Let's see if that's uh, being reflected in the screen. I hope you guys can see it all right. Start from the top one. So we're looking at Proverbs 17, verses 27 to 28. I'm going to zoom it, guys, for your benefit. Yeah, I hope you guys can see that properly. Or if you're just listening through audio, then I hope my voice is well modulated and my volume is also well modulated so you guys can keep up. So here we have Proverbs 17, verse 27 to 28. Now, in the KJV version, now I'm utilizing translations. So, in hopes that in the different rendering of the words, we will be able to we'll be able to appreciate the context. Never, well, not completely at its purest form, but we can at least tap into it. So here we are in the KJV. verse 27 to 28 says, "He that hath knowledge spareth his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding." What about the Young's translation? I call this the cousin of KJV because it also uses a form of Old English dialectic. So here it is: "One acquainted with knowledge is sparing his words, and the cool of temper is a man of understanding. Even a fool keeping silence is reckoned wise. He who is shutting his lips, intelligent." What about the Brenton Septuagint? "He that forbears to utter a hard word is discreet, and a patient man is wise." Different approach. "Wisdom shall be imputed to a fool who asks after wisdom, and he who holds his peace, he who holds his peace shall seem to be sensible." Look at that. See? "Wisdom shall be imputed to a fool who asks after wisdom." So this is an ignoramus, or a contentious one, who by decides to keep his mouth closed and rather listen. This is why it is rendered as that wisdom will be imputed to the fool, because in the latter, if he will hold his peace, he will keep his mouth closed. And that is why, if you shut up and you would listen, you are intelligent. An intelligent man also listens. "Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding, because he listens." He controls his mouth. He is not impatient to get a word out. He rather listens to the matter at hand, and by working with that patience to say something, not only it prevents him from being hasty with his words, that is also somewhere in Proverbs, but it also allows him to construct the next thing he's going to say, something more substantial. What about the Berean Study Bible? "A man of knowledge restrains his words, and a man of understanding maintains a calm spirit." So it's not just now. If we look at KJV, it says, "He that hath knowledge spareth his words." Now, in the surface, it's like, oh, the guy just knows how to summarize it. Yeah, partially, sure, but sparing it as to spare it, it's more like it's not he's it's not that he's sparingly saying his word, but he spares his word. Like he doesn't say anything at all. He keeps it close, he keeps it to himself. And while he listens, rather, he can be of more he could be of more eloquence, but the real goal there is substantial. He can say something substantial. He doesn't spurg around. That is why in this clause you are you're regarded as an excellent spirit. So even a man that listens has an excellent spirit. Some would render it as cool of temper. Now, whatever excellent spirit or cool of temper is rendered from, then we will get to that when we get to the exegetical studies. Right now, we're just going to refer to the English, and the exegetical will be of another time. What about the New Living Translation? "A truly wise person uses few words." So this is where we kind of get, oh, he just makes things simple. But the KJV also says, spareth his words, not sparingly, but spareth. But it does make sense because if you were also one that kept quiet and listened, thereby also giving giving consideration to the second verse in this clause, you would know that you're able to put things in few words in simple terms because you're one who keeps quiet. He listens. You listen to it, and you also manage to assimilate that in your head and try to put it in simple terms, preventing you from from being not ostentatious. You're able to put it in simple words. Back in the day when I was in college, my students would just often read their reports. They're like, and I mean, I'm gonna be blunt here. They're like NPCs, non-playable characters. They just read what they put there. So it's kind of like the copy and paste trope. And you can tell he's just reading for the sake of it. There was no understanding. I mean, it didn't last long, but it was at that elk where it was at that period of time where uh, they just got on with the, oh, I just copy paste this and then I just read it for the sake of reading it. And we know that that's how we never learned. So, and then the thing is, there was a time that I didn't have a presentation. I had to rely based on what I've read. So, I mean, not to boast, but because I was assimilating what I was reading, I left all of what I thought in my head. So metaphorically, I kept my mind silent and let the book tell me uh, what it is it's trying to tell me. And because of that, I was able to just use, all I needed was a chalk and a blackboard to, I mean, it was a whiteboard. So all I needed was a whiteboard and a pencil pen to make illustrations. So in regards to this, if you truly listen, or let's say if you even clear your own head of really loud thoughts screaming in your head, if you manage to assimilate it, then you could you will say things that are very substantial. So in here, if you listen to wisdom, if you or let's say the wise thing to do, if you understand what the person is trying to say, or if you're able to draw something out of a person, not only will you be able to respond accordingly, but in the first clause, you are regarded as even tempered. What does that mean? Your intentions are tempered with the sound of mind. There is a filtering. There is a really good filtering of the things that register in your head. And if possible, you could even hit the core of another person's inquiry or what the person's trying to tell you or what he's saying to you, or heck, even when he insults you, right? What about the NASB? He who restrains his words has knowledge, keeps it shut. And he who has a cool spirit, see, even tempered. Now, another thing also is that there's one thing I left out, cool spirited. So, which means he's not hasty, he's not impatient. It's kind of like it heats up. But if you're able to chill out, then that presence of impatience to get a word out suddenly goes away, and then it would compel you to listen rather. So when it's your time to speak, then you'll say something very substantial. So this is what I also like about the NASB and the YLT. It says a cool of temper. So you're not just somebody who is there's a word for that yeah, hasty in his words, like or even or even let's say words without thoughts. It could also be due to your anger or due to the fact that you just need to get your word out. Or let's say um, you are being warmed up with the urge to just say something, whatever vain motive it is in your heart that would cause you to say things. But if you temper your mind and rather listen instead, which will also be of an advantage if you do so, even if you don't say anything, you manage to assimilate something that possibly could be worthwhile. And if it's not, then at least you'll be able to recognize how foolish that is. These are also one of the things, this is also one of the verses in Proverbs that if you're going to discern, there's a thing called stop, look, and listen. If you're going to discern, then these are one of the requirements. This is what you need to demonstrate. The second paragraph tells you that this is what you require. And if you do this, well, the latter is worthwhile. Thank you, Christian Carpenter, for letting me know that you can see everything and the screen and my audio is fine. I hope you guys are still there. I hope you guys are still keeping up. So the context, better a dry morsel in quietness. So in the beginning of this chapter, we have, let me pull out my Bible. Hang on. I need to pull out my Bible. Just allow me. I'm reading from the King James Version. So just give me a second. My desk is kind of a mess, so hang on. 17:1. Yeah. So it says here, better is a dry morsel in quietness therewith than a house full of sacrifices with strife. Relating to this, than a house full of sacrifices with strife. This is why you need a calm spirit. Especially when the fact that when you're not making sense, it would also it might compel somebody to just hammer you down with how could you say something so stupid? And not everybody is as even tempered as they need to be. And the fact that you keep silent diminishes strife. It diminishes the bad situation. Now, in Proverbs 18 verses hold on. I'm looking for it because it's right here. Brother, man's belly. Rich man's well before destruction is haughty. In the spirit, the heart man's give. He first on his cause. Yes, first yes, brother, man's belly, death and life, or no. It's right here. All right, I'm wrong. It's not 18. It's verse 17 and 14. So, in the second clause of verse 1, here in verse 14, it paints a better picture of strife. And it says, The beginning of strife is as when one letteth out water. Therefore, leave off contention before it be meddled with. Now, folks, I want you to picture a dam that has a crack in it. If you meddle with it, the waves will get bigger. It will become worse. That is why when you reach 27, it behooves you to be tempered in mind, to be calm in spirit, and keep silent. Otherwise, the contention will expand, not just for a duration, but it might reach the ears of others, or it might go beyond that, beyond of which that is between a conversation of two people, it now reaches the ears of another who could be contentious as well. It is not wrong to have discussions, and inevitably there will be times that the discussions will be heated, but you want to lessen that contention and not widen it. That's why it would behoove you to be tempered in mind and learn to just keep quiet. And Vernon McGee says it best: it pays to shut up, right? So let's continue. Cross referencing. James 1:19. My beloved brothers, understand this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Stop, look, and listen. Same thing though. But you should be more quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Now, I know you may have noticed that I was in Praise's stream, and the guy EXO just doesn't shut up. He doesn't even let me speak. And then he can't, I mean, if he wants to, even if he wanted to, if he could refute me, I could say that I could leave off a piece that he can't do it properly because, I mean, how is he even gonna understand and have even the basis of his refutal if he doesn't even let me finish or lay out my points? Now, if you want to think badly of the guy, that's fine. He demonstrated it himself. All I'm doing is showing you that because he refused to listen to me, he acted like a fool. He doesn't even let me talk. And then there he goes selling as if he's put this dumb supposed theistic evolutionist when I never claimed to be one. He's, he claims to have stomped me. He might have the best interests in heart for me, but it doesn't remove the fact that what he did was foolish. He acted like a monkey. He acted like a woman. So, EXO, if you find this video and if you find this timestamp, remember this: be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Even if that means you don't like what I'm saying or disagree what I'm saying. Because we can't get a good conversation and I can't get my points out, and you will forever create a context of which I don't even imply to use. Thereby, you'll end up misrepresenting me. And this is ethics. Proverbs 10:19. When words are many, sin is unavoidable, but he who restrains his lips is wise. See, it is better to keep your mouth closed than to say many things, and you might end up saying something sinful. Or let's say saying something dumb. Proverbs 14:29. A patient man has great understanding, but a quick tempered man promotes folly. Can't get more explicit than that, folks. Treasure of Scripture. He that has knowledge spares his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. Now, what is the exegetical for spareth? Like, what is the hermeneutical? What is what range in the hermeneutics is the word spareth used in context according to treasury of Scripture? Well, in Proverbs 10:19, we have, in the multitude of words there wanteth not sin. Oh, we just got through that. But he that refraineth his lips is wise. Spare, as I said, to keep your mouth shut, as the KJV would render it. NLT would say, keep his words few, but that still implies the fact that he shouldn't be saying much. He should also be quiet for the rest of the duration. Proverbs 15:28, the heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things. He would rather listen, the heart of the righteous would rather listen and understand what you're trying to say. But if you're a wicked man without self-control, you just pour out your spirit. No self-control, no refraining, no ethics with conversation. James 1:19, wherefore, my beloved, again, swift to hear, slow to speak. Slow to speak, slow to wrath. That is why, swift to hear. Be more of a listener. You learn quickly that way too. So it's not just, so the conservative listener, as titled, he's also a learning man and an excellent spirit. Ooh. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty. So that is why some translations render it as even tempered or calm spirited or cool spirited. Why? Because this man is slow to anger. Now, even if we don't use cool or even tempered, this speaks of continence, discipline, self-control. That is a quality also of an excellent spirit. And he is better than and you know what else? This is a man slow to anger, or a man that is even tempered. What? He is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. Yes. Self-control. It's one of the hardest skills that you could do. You learn to control yourself, controlling your spirit. That is a whole lot different and difficult. That is why you have this rendering. Because even kings, although they taketh the city, but they get clouded in their judgment, that within that city they make things worse, or they don't know what to do, they don't think straight, and then they get lost in their victory, that they just, again, don't think straight. They're not sober about it. So that is the metaphor here. It is harder to control your own spirit. It is harder to control yourself. That's how difficult that is. What about Ecclesiastes 9, verse 17? The words of wise men are heard in quiet, more than the cry of him that ruleth among fools. Yeah, fools don't shut up. And if anything, they never shut up about themselves. They like to show off and this and that, but out of their lack of humility, they keep talking. What about James 3:18? And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace. See? Cross references. If only you would remain silent. You can't get more explicit than this. If only you would remain silent, for that would be your wisdom. Pays to shut up, right? Proverbs 18:1. This doesn't show a humble spirit. It also shows that, once again, you're a learning man. Now, this is not to berate all of us, but think of yourself as an ignorant man. And I don't mean the willfully ignorant kind, but I mean the one who is unaware, or yeah, possibly also mentally challenged. And then when you assimilate that, you would rather listen more. Like because you don't want to say something stupid, you would rather keep your mouth shut. And with that, it would behoove you to listen instead. Or because you have nothing nice to say, you would rather listen. Okay. What about Proverbs 18:1? He who isolates himself pursues selfish desires. He rebels against all sound judgment. Wow. Look at that. This is a man who doesn't want to be corrected. Now, the thing is, folks, we don't like correction. We want to be right all the time. We don't like correction. Nevertheless, as unpleasant as it may be, this is how we learn. And this is how we also know if one is too prideful or too egoistic or one that just utilizes the Dunning Kruger effect a lot. I don't have to name that same person, but there's many more. Could be worse too. Treasury of Scripture. Even a fool, when he holds his peace, is counted wise, and he that shuts his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. Proverbs 15, verse 2. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright. They know when to say it. They know, no, rather, they know when to say something, and they know when to shut up and just keep it in their heads. But the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. They're like what I would refer to as Baroque's speech. No, Wernicke? Vernix? Yeah, Vernix speech. Or we call that fluent speech. You know what that means? In medical terms and also under the realm of physical therapy, yeah, we have that. And no. It's not in the realm of physical therapy. I mean, that would be a speech pathologist, but we have to know this too, so we'll be able to uh, shape our interventions. So, a man with Wernicke's aphasia or fluent speech is one. Well, the Wernicke area. I forgot which Brodmann area it was, but that area is if that Wernicke's area has a lesion, that's a part in the brain. Now, if that has a lesion, your the integration of the comprehension of words is damaged or dysfunctional. So a patient with Wernicke aphasia can have the ability to speak, but he's talking nonsense. It's gibberish. Because why? Because of deletion of the Wernicke area, where it's responsible for the integration of comprehension of words. That is why when he speaks, he makes no sense. Whereas a Broca's aphasia patient is exactly the same. He cannot speak, but his comprehension skills are normal. Yet here we have verses telling us it's better to be. No, I'm not saying go ahead, get yourself a cerebral vascular accident, and go get yourself a cerebral vascular accident. No, but if there's one thing I learned from people with Broca's aphasia, is that they have very good, although they don't speak much, but they have very good comprehension skills, and they can follow instructions better than one who has a Wernicke's aphasia. Fluent speech. That's the other name for it. Ironic, right? You call it fluent. So yeah, there is value of keeping quiet. What about Job 13, verse 5? Oh, this one again. Oh, that ye would altogether hold your peace, and it should be your wisdom. Ecclesiastes 5:3. Oh, I like this. For a dream cometh through the multitude of business. A fool's voice is known by the multitude of words. Ah, see? I also hope you enjoy the medical terms I'm also giving you as to relate to our Bible studying too. Yeah, hope you guys like it. So now we get into the meat of our program, this situation. Now, expository. So we have Ellicott, which is what I've fallen in love with for quite some time. And it says here, let me just mark that one. Okay, mark that one. Color that one. He that hath knowledge keeps quiet. This verse will be better be rendered as he that restrains his words hath knowledge, and one who is cool of temper is a man of understanding. The avoidance of rash speech and a hasty temper is here advised. Now, when we say hasty tempered, we usually refer to someone who is hot headed, sure, but it doesn't have to be that way. Like, it's the urge to just really disregard your thinking right before you could get something substantial to convey in your thoughts, just for the or you just say something for the sake of saying something, right? It's the same thing. Keep your mouth closed lest you say something stupid. Benson commentary. Or rather, how about this one? It behooves you to listen. There. What about Benson commentary? Ooh. I'll just focus on the English renderings. This will also be part of the exegetical episode. So in Proverbs 17, verse 27 to 28, he said, he that hath knowledge spareth. In Hebrew, said Hebrew word, it says, restraineth his words, as at other times. So especially when he is under a provocation to anger. Yeah, this is also like a multi-situational verse too. So when he is under a provocation to an anger or any other passion, in which case fool utter all their minds. So there is no self-control. Like, you don't have like because you fail to keep yourself tempered, you get lost in your anger, or let's say you get lost in the hastiness of your mind or the hastiness of your behavior. You end up saying either one of the most unthinkable or angry or stupid things. Whereas it can also be a result that because you couldn't control anger, you either did say something stupid, you either said stupid things, or you did something stupid, or it's just a sandwich of both. This is ethics, ladies and gentlemen. And a listener has more ethics than a man who just yaps and yaps and yaps. And a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit, which he shows as in various other things, so by commanded his passions, and bridling himself from hasty and unadvised speeches. But this is according to the marginal reading of the Masorah. Yeah, this is an interesting term. I don't know what this is. But the reading of the Hebrew text is cool, according to which the sense of the clause is a man of understanding is of a cool spirit, calm and moderate, not easily provoked. Even a hasty spirit also would cause you to act upon your anger. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's a difference between being angry and or angry slash indignant, and there's another different, and it's another thing to be lost in your indignation. It can be aimed, it can be a weapon if you control it. But In the Bible, it's always advised that don't let the sun go down upon your wrath, because there's no guarantee that you won't get lost in your anger, right? Even a fool, when he holds his peace, is counted wise, because he is sensible of his folly. Ooh, he understands what he's done, he recognizes it. Or let's say if he's able to see that he doesn't know anything and he's just willing to spew bullcrap, then and therefore forbears to speak lest he should discover it, which is one point of true wisdom. If a fool holds his peace, men of candor will think him wise, because nothing appears to the contrary, and because it will be thought he is making observations on what others say and gaining experience. See, context is still there. Or consulting with himself what he should say. This is a listener, ladies and gentlemen, that he may speak pertinently. Thus, he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. He gains the reputation of being a wise man, the result of an excellent spirit, on the easy condition of restraining his tongue, right? Or of hearing and in seeing and saying little, as the NLT would have it. Matthew's concise commentary. A man may show himself to be a wise man by the good temper of his mind and by the good government of his tongue. He is careful when he does speak, to speak to the purpose, or to the telos. God knows his heart, and the folly that is bound there. Therefore he cannot be deceived in his judgment as men may be. The quiet man should also be the observant man. Now, what about the full version of this one? So, verse 27 28. Two ways a man may show himself to be a wise man. One, by the good temper, the sweetness, and the sedateness of his mind. A man of understanding is of an excellent spirit, a precious spirit, so the word is. He is one that looks well to his spirit, that it be as it should be, and so keeps it in an even frame, easy to himself and pleasant to others. A gracious spirit is a precious spirit, and renders a man amiable and more excellent than his neighbor. He is of a cool spirit, so some read it, not heated with passion, see, nor put into any tumult or disorder by the impetus of any corrupt affection, but even in state. Now, when we say heated, we think of anger, indignation, or the guy gets mad, but no, there's many ways to warm up somebody, or let's say to provoke somebody, to get him to do something, requires energy. So the poetic inference there is that it gets heated, and it doesn't have to be anger. It can be passion, can be an emotionally driven, or yeah, even someone who's emotionally driven can be the source of the fire that burns in his tumult, right? When we think of a hothead, it's always the guy who's angry, but no, sometimes even a hothead can be one who is emotionally driven or passionate, or has the urge to say things just for the sake of saying things, or even for an unworthy motive, such as what? To appear cool, which is what a Pharisee would do. A cool head with a warm heart is an admirable composition. See? With a good government of his tongue, a wise man will be of few words. Not necessarily that when he has to elaborate something, he can't speak uh, big words or long things about it. But this is a man more of uh, this is more of a man that listens. He doesn't say much in the sense where like he doesn't read long elocutions. That's a faulty way to put it. but rather he is one who doesn't who learns the value of rather listening rather than speaking up. This is the man who this is a man who assimilates the value of being swift to listen and slow to speak. It doesn't necessarily mean that when he elaborates, he cannot talk long if need be. But the fact that that this man chooses to listen, chooses to assimilate things rather than even pretend to know what he's talking about. This is of a very beneficial uh, ilk and virtue and ethics. Heck, even they say the silent man in the room is the most dangerous because he's learning. He learns about you, he learns about his surroundings, thereby, he also learns about himself concerning such. A silent man is not just a dangerous man, he's also a learning man, which makes him dangerous, makes him unpredictable. Because nobody knows what's going on in his mind. Yet the silent and wise man alone is the one that's learning. And it's not just keeping his mouth closed, but also the other passing thoughts in his mind, seizing it and focusing on the conversation or the speech at hand, whereby there is also there is also focus on when he listens. Because when you listen, basically you don't just hear it, it just doesn't go in one ear and passes it outwards. No, you do it in the same way your nervous system does. So you integrate it in your mind, or even the mind integrates it. Okay, you guys are still following. So where was I? Cool head with a warm heart is an admirable composition, with a good government of his tongue. A wise man will be of few words. Why? As being afraid of speaking amiss. That's another one, lest you say something stupid. He that has knowledge and aims to do good with it is careful. So he's also a cautious man, but with context. Not in a sense that he's always afraid, but he doesn't want to speak amiss. Not out of fear, but out of substantial caution. When he does speak, to speak to the purpose. So there is context in his word. There is that substance. It's not just the mere words of what an NPC was just dictated to say. There is context in his words. He's not speaking out of a script and says little in order that he may take time to deliberate. Right? So the silent man is not just a dangerous listening man, but a man that also reflects. He spares his words because they are better spared than ill spent, too. Ah, remember what I said about being ostentatious? Remember what I said about if you're going to convey something, it has to be substantial, whether it by be layman or you have to be eloquent about it. And those two different situations would tell you how to construct your speech. Number two, this is generally taken for such a sure indication of wisdom that a fool may gain the reputation of being a wise man if he have but wit enough to hold his tongue, to hear and see and say little. If a fool hold his peace, men of candor will think him wise, because nothing appears to the contrary, and because it will be thought. This is, yeah, this is Benson's. It's right here. He took it from that one. But this is, I think this is different. So, see how easy it is to gain men's good opinion and to impose upon them. But when a fool holds his peace, God knows his heart and the thought. We read this already. Now we go into Barnes' notes in the Bible. Better a man of calm or noble spirit is a man of understanding. Is esteemed, or is simply. The maxim would imply that silence is in any case good. Hmm, I kind of disagree with the commentary here. Sometimes, yeah, it does pay to shut up, but can't stay quiet forever. Sometimes you get to say something, especially when you know it's going to be useful. And what about Matthew Poole's commentary? Oh, we're back with the word spareth again. In the Hebrew, it is rendered from that, and you get restraineth. As at other times, so especially when he is provoked to passion, in which case fools utter all their mind. Yeah, this also speaks of like this word here. This also speaks of a very emotionally driven man, an excellent spirit, which he showed. Spacing, bold, which he showeth by commanding his passions, and burdling himself from hasty and unadvised speeches, or as others render it, is of a cool spirit, calm and moderate, not easily provoked, humble, as the Chaldee renders it, patient or long suffering, as the lexicon and Arabic interpreters render the words, or as others, sparing, precious, which is put for rare or scarce. So it also implies the idea of knowing when to say things and when not to say things. It also helps you think, is this a good thing to say? Should I just keep my mouth shut? Or in the midst of me keeping my mouth shut, would I be able to reconstruct my words, be it a question or an addition to the topic at hand, right? Of this speech that this very word is used, Proverbs 20:11, Isaiah 11:4, compared with 2 Thessalonians 2:8. So let's pull those verses out. 1 Samuel chapter 3, verse 1. Scarce. The child Samuel ministered unto the Lord before Eli, and the word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no open vision. Sparing. Scarce. He's so we can even say scarcity of his words, like he uses little. That he would rather you the I mean, it is better to use a few words that make sense than many words that speak of foolishness. Whereby, if we go back to the introductory in the context, better is what? Better is a dry morsel and quietness therewith than a house full of sacrifices with strife. There's another one that says, better is a little than many with strife, or many with contention. Ah, can anyone tell me what a morsel is? Anyone in the side chat? So I'll be able to understand it. Or if you guys are going to watch this on the Vibe, do put it in the comments. Like, what is a morsel? So I can just get through this. Is counted wise. because he is sensible of his own folly, and therefore forbears to speak lest he should discover it, which is a great point of true wisdom. Now, what about Gil? He that hath knowledge spareth his words, or he that knows knowledge. One that is very knowing has a fund of knowledge in him, spareth his words, is generally a man of few words. He thinks much and says little. If you can put it in simple terms, that means you know a lot. And though he may be communicative of his knowledge to proper persons and at proper times, yet never speaks of it in a boasting and, the word I keep using, ostentatious way. Or he restrains his words. He puts a bridle on them and suffers not himself to speak hastily and angrily, and in a reproachful manner when he is provoked to it. And a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. Here is a various reading. The setive is of a cool spirit, in opposition to a warm, fiery spirit, such as was that of the apostles, who were for calling for fire from heaven on those that slighted their master, and as he told them, knew not what spirits they were of. But a cool spirit is one of that is not soon angry, hasty mind, hasty spirit, ill tempered. See? But a cool spirit is one that is not soon angry, calm, sedate, and not easily provoked to wrath. The carry or modular reading is of an excellent or precious spirit. And such an one is a right spirit, a spirit of faith and love, and of a sound mind. And of such a spirit is a man of understanding in things divine and spiritual. To have a spirit of prayer and to be tender hearted, and of a sympathizing and forgiving spirit is to be of an excellent spirit. The Targum is humble in spirit, and a meek and quiet spirit is in the sight of God of great price. The Lord has a great regard to such who are of a humble and contrite spirit. With these he dwells, to these he gives more grace. These are like to Christ and have the fruits of his spirit. Humility. I mean, that's where it also preemanates from. 27 and 28 is one that also demonstrates humility. Verses 27 and 28, rather, that can demonstrate humility too, and are very useful and ornamental. The Septuagint, Syriac, and Arabic versions render it patient or long suffering, as we have read earlier. And to be of a patient spirit is to be of an excellent spirit. Such bear afflictions and reproaches quietly, wait God's own time for hearing and helping them, and live in the comfortable expectation of heaven and happiness. Such show themselves to be wise and understanding men. Verse 28. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise. Not only one that is sparing of his words, and is really a man of knowledge and understanding, but even a fool, if he is but silent, and does not betray his folly by his words, will be reckoned a wise man by those that do not know him. And whatever fool he may be in other respects, yet in this he acts the wise part, that he holds his peace and says nothing. And he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding, and keeps them shut, lest he should say anything rashly and hastily. A man that has so much command of himself as not to speak unadvisedly, through the heat of his own passions and through the provocation of others, pass for a man that understands himself. This is why it behooves you again to keep quiet, because you might just make the strife bigger. It behooves you to keep quiet. And the people that provoke you or cause you to anger them, they feed off of that. So you ought to know to behave well before others. Yes, even if it's people you don't like. Contentment, the wise servant. The Lord tries the heart. Children are crowned to their parents. We should hide our neighbor's faults. The poor should not be despised, litigations and quarrels to be avoided. Wealth is useless to a fool. The good friend, fool may pass for a wise man when he holds his peace. And there's only one verse under Clark for Clark, but it's worthwhile still. Even a fool is counted wise as to that particular. He may know that he cannot speak well, and he has sense enough to keep from speaking. He is, as to the particular, a wise fool. A man may be golden mouthed and silver tongued in eloquence, but to know when and where to speak and to be silent is better than diamonds. But who that thinks he can speak well can refrain from speaking. His tongue has no rest. Here's my favorite, the biblical illustrator. There's a lot. He that hath knowledge spareth his words. Signs of a wise man. Two ways a man shows himself to be a wise man. Just have a small trajectory here. Hope you guys are keeping up. Okay, so by the good temper, the sweetness and the sedateness of his mind, a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit, a precious spirit. He is one that looks well to his spirit, that it be as it should be, and so keeps it in an even frame, easy to himself and pleasant to others. Gracious spirit is a precious spirit. It renders a man amiable and more excellent than his neighbor. He's of a cool spirit, so some read it. We've read this already. But the good government of his tongue, yeah, this is in Benson, this is also in Matthew. Yep, it's Matthew Henry. What about The Empire of Silence by Thomas Carlyle? All right, this is good. Looking around at the noisy inanity of the world, words with little meaning, actions with little worth, one loves to reflect on the great empire of silence. The noble silent men gathered here and there, each in his department, silently thinking, silently working. Sorry, my tea got cold. Had to drink it right away. So, again, the noble silent man gathered here and there, each in his department, silently thinking, silently working, whom no morning newspaper makes mention of. They are the salt of the earth. A country that has none or few of these is in a bad way, like a forest which has no roots, which is all turned into leaves and boughs, which must soon wither and be no forest. Yeah, funny how the roots of plants are analogously related to a silent man. It is the things we don't see underground that lay foundation to the things we see on the ground, such as the blooming of a flower, the sprouting of a sapling, right? That is humility. Or I'm going to invoke Bruce Lee. The lower foundations, the humble lower foundations of a building is what gives rise to the beautiful heights that it has. I'm just paraphrasing it because I don't understand. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't remember what it says vividly, but that's the idea. So I'll say it again in my own words. The lower foundations of a building is what allows the construction of the higher heights that make it beautiful. So, would it be safe to predicate that that humility is like a very silent boy? Anyway, a country that has none or few of these is in a bad way, like a forest which has no roots, which has all turned into leaves and boughs, which must soon wither and be no forest. Woe to us if we had nothing but what we can show or speak. Silence, the great empire of silence. higher than the stars, deeper than the kingdoms of death. It alone is great, all else is small. Silence and thought. Bees will not work except in darkness. Yeah, that's why they make their honey in the hive. Thought will not work except in silence. Neither will virtue work except in silence. Let not thy right hand know what the left hand doeth. Oh, everybody needs to know what I'm doing. Well, that's also one of the bases for I need attention syndrome. So, this would also behoove you to be quiet, lest you be looked upon as a validation seeking narcissist. What about pulpit commentary homiletics? Varied experience of good and evil in life. Proverbs 17, verses 21 to 28 by E. Johnson. This could be Eric Johnson. Anyway, we may divide them into the sorrowful, the joyous, and the mixed experiences. First, you got sad experiences. The sorrow of thankless children, verses 21 to 25. To name it as enough, let's just go to the part where it talks of, yeah, this one. The wisdom of a calm, let me erase that because I'm only looking for the context of, uh, yeah, I'm just looking for the context of this one, so I'm just going to remove that. Oh, okay. Just allow me to save this situation. Verses 27 to 28. Right. So the wisdom of a calm temper and economy of words. Is it still reflected? Yes. An anxiety to talk is the mark of a shallow mind. See, this is much more better to render. A hasty mind, an ill-tempered mind, or an uneven tempered mind. It's just the urge or the anxiety to say something. The knowledge of the season of silence and reserve may be compared to the wisdom of the general who knows when to keep his forces back and when to launch them at the foe. The composed spirit comes from the knowledge that truth will prevail in one way or another, and the same time for our utterance will arrive. Lastly, this wisdom of silence, so often preached by great men, even the fool may gain some credit for wisdom which he does not possess by holding his tongue. And this is an index of the reality. Our great example here is the silence of Jesus, continued for 30 years. Out of the silence, a voice at length proceeded that will ever vibrate through the word. Ever wonder why Jesus isn't revealed a lot? Because he made sure that if what he's about to say would be even at any effect to those who are even listening or hearing them, even by merely hearing him. What about Guzik, Bible commentary? So he has a knowledge that spares his words. Both wisdom and folly are often revealed by one's words. Yeah, perfects that one. Yet in the case of wisdom, it may be revealed by the knowledge of when to keep quiet. We should never think that the wise man or woman reveals their wisdom by talking a lot. Yeah, remember this, folks. Guzik also puts it beautifully. We should never think that the wise man or woman reveals their wisdom by talking a lot. Right? Talkative. There you go. A man of understanding is of a calm spirit. The peace and contentment that properly come to the wise is described here as a calm spirit. To be constantly agitated and upset is a mark of folly, not wisdom. Agitated and upset. Proverbs 17, verse 28. Even a fool is counted wise when he holds his peace. This continues the idea from the precious proverb. There is a wonderful way that even a fool can be considered wise. That is not to speak, and he is counted wise. The dry advice of 28 is not purely ironical. The fool who takes it, it is no longer a complete fool. When he shuts his lips, he is considered perceptive. If the fool cared about being considered perceptive, this gives an easy way for it to happen. Regards, you listen. One is reminded of Abraham Lincoln's witty saying, "It is better to keep your mouth shut and let them think you a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt." Wow, Abraham Lincoln, right? It is better to keep your mouth shut and let them think you a fool. So it's still an assumption or assertion than to open your mouth and prove them right, to remove all doubt in their assertion or assumption, right? It's better to keep your mouth closed and have people think you're stupid than to prove them right. I will remember. I gotta put this somewhere. Anyway, so thank you, Abraham Lincoln. King Common's Bible Studies, the control of the tongue. The first line of Proverbs 17, verse 27 is about restraining the tongue. Sorry, I have this kind of convulsion in my chest, like after I drink a beverage, so yeah, I think I need to belch. But anyway, it's about restraining the tongue, not to say thoughtless and untimely things. Yeah, words said in season is sweet. As far as I could remember, infer that Proverbs verse vividly as I can. It says literally that he saves his words. So this is, he says he prevents himself from saying something thoughtless or untimely. Which, even if you do it sparingly, like you just say a few words, then this applies too. He who does that seems to have knowledge. The second line of the verse deals with self control, literally a cool spirit, or as the NASB would render it, and I like it better, even tempered. That is the opposite of being hot tempered. He who has a cool spirit will not lose patience and will not get hot tempered during a discussion, whether it be by anger or by way of passion or by way of being emotionally driven. Yeah, we learned that if we want to harvest, sorry, we learn that if we want to have rest, calmness, self control, and cautiousness, we have to develop knowledge and understanding. The wise man is a source of knowledge in himself. That knowledge is acquired by him because he is wise, that he has the knowledge now, that he has that knowledge now means that he is wise and knows what he should and especially what he knows what he should and especially what he should not say. He will not boast on his knowledge and will be a man of few words. See, you might end up making yourself look like a prideful, egoistic narcissist. There you go. He is patient and waits until it is God's time to say something. You know, it's the worst case scenario for that one too. When I pulled off pride, egoism, and narcissism, I'll put it simply, and I'll be blunt here. That makes you somebody that kisses his own ass. You can fault me for that vulgarity, but you know that I'm saying that with all simplicity while while giving that degree of how serious that is. I mean, you talk a lot so much you end up kissing your own ass without you knowing it. And I'll tell you this, you can't impress God. That's what the Pharisees tried to do. So in light of that, don't try to impress the girl in your don't try to impress that beautiful girl that you like in school. Rather, let her be impressed. See what I did there? Anyway, well, not necessarily in school, maybe in work, or I don't know. Or maybe that one crossing the street that you never deigned to say a word because you might say something stupid. Anyway, keeping silent is a sigh of wisdom. Yeah, speaking of which, even a fool seems wise and is considered wise when he keeps silent, meaning by those who do not know him. In any case, he hides his foolishness by keeping silent. This applies to the fool. I mean, even if they won't look at you as wise, at least because when you kept silent, they won't regard you as an idiot. There. So when this applies to the fool, how much more does it apply to the wise who's keeping silent shows that he is a wise man. Of course, the fool does not become wise, he only hides his foolishness. There you go. The fool may keep silent and give the impression that he is wise, but God knows his heart, and also the wise will not let himself to be deceived. But if it's a learning fool, then yeah, it would be the contrary too. So this one, King over here has a more situational approach to this one. William Kelly Major Word Commentary. He hath knowledge by his word, a man of understanding is of a cool spirit. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is reckoned wise. He that shutteth his lips is prudent. The chapter closes with two verses which show the value of that silence, which is said to be golden. And even if that which is but leaden, not positive but merely negative or seeming, he that has knowledge spares his words, aware of what is far better. The man of understanding is of a cool spirit, knowing the mischief of inconsiderateness, impetuosity. And this is so true that even his tongue, sorry, this is so true that even a fool, when by experience of many a buffet profits to hold his tongue, gains credit for wisdom he does not deserve. And even if you won't be regarded as wise, at least if you are a fool and you know it in your heart, people won't see it that way because you restrained yourself there. As he that shuts his lips habitually is counted prudent. The day is not yet come for the earth when a king, the king, shall reign in righteousness, and princes rule in judgment. Then a man, for indeed there is but one on whose shoulder the weight of such government rests, shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert for the tempest. As rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land, the fool shall no more be called noble, nor the crafty said to be bountiful. But the day is at hand, dark as its dawn must be, and terrible for the ungodly, Jews, Gentiles, and above all those that now name the Lord's name in vain. All right, so we're going to get into the exegetical, but that will be for another time. Okay, so if any of you here like to share your thoughts, or if you guys listen to this on the Vibe that just got here, I will now pin the link. If there is anyone, here it is. Oh, hey Dave. Sorry, hey Dave. I just got to see your comment. Yeah, thanks for chiming in, brother. See, there's a NASB 97. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's an older NASB. So if any of you like to share your thoughts on the subject, I have sent the link in the side chat, and yeah, I think I'll just give this another hour before I really hit the bed because it's late now. So if anybody wants to chime in and say something, then go ahead. Hello, Dave. Good to see you, brother.
Good morning. I just woke up. I'm gonna go back to bed, but I just thought I'd scroll back. I had your live going, and I had a second one open where I scrolled back and was watching what you were looking at there. Where did you cut and paste that one from? I was just curious. Bible Hub or
BibleHub.com.
what was the keywords you looked up? Because I didn't go back that far.
Well, it's not really the key. I mean, what you want to do is go to Bible Hub, and I just click on the tab Parallels. It shows everything. It shows a little
Okay.
bit of everything:
I'm there.
translations, context,
Right. I mean, what was your springboard? Like, where'd you go? Like to some verse or?
Yeah, I went to some verse, and specifically for this stream, it's verses 27 and 28 of Proverbs 17
So you just typed in Proverbs 17,
and 28. Yeah, Proverbs 17. Yes,
and then you typed in what, 28 to something, or just 28?
27 and 28. Or I mean, it's separate. Like you can't like, I mean, unless you open another tab, sure,
No, I know.
but
It's fine.
you have a lot of things laid out for you exhaustively when it comes to one verse,
Right.
even the
I
commentary.
was
So
just
that's
wondering
what.
if I could just go to Bible Hub right now and type in something to start with where you started and get kind of what you got. How did you do that again? You went to Bible Hub and now I got the search window. So what should I type in the search window? Just give me something. However you did.
um
How did you start it? Like basically,
Hang
because I
on.
don't use Bible Hub all the time. I thought it was maybe real easy to do.
Here, let me show you. Let me show you how I use it. All right, so that you can
Okay.
have a better idea on this one. So
I
what
know
I
how to
do?
use it. I just want to know what to type in to get what you got.
Oh no, you don't have to type anything.
Okay.
What I did exactly. What I did exactly was. Hang on, I'll open the window here. So what I did exactly was. Hang on, the screen is not sharing. Oh no, hang on. Hang on, Dave.
Yeah, it's all right.
Just give me a bit of time here. Stop screen. Yeah, my computer is not doing
I mean,
anything.
the only reason I say I know how to use Bible Hub is not because I've used it, but it's pretty obvious. You can search on their search engine,
Yeah.
something. So I just wanted
So
to springboard and like I thought maybe you could tell me how you started to get the commentary and everything that you got on the screen there, or was it a combination of a whole bunch of different things?
it's a combination of a whole bunch of different things. So let me show you how it's done here.
Oh, okay.
So what I did was, for example, I want to look in. Okay, no, I hear verse chooser, not. Hang on. So what I did was I opened Proverbs. I click
Okay.
on this one. Then you have the chapters, and I
Yep.
went to 17.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. And it will open another one, and you have a
Hmm.
bunch of verses 27 and 28. Once you click on that one, like it's a particular verse, then there you have different translations here. You have the context, all sorts of tabs and cross references, treasury of scripture. Now, the meat of my of my videos is this: the commentaries. Now, when you press comment here, you have the parallel of commentaries here. So you
Right.
have Ellicott's, Benson's, Pulpit.
Gotcha.
You have
Gotcha. I understand that completely now. Yeah, I
yeah,
know that. Yep.
yeah. There, well, that's it. All right.
So
So
that
let
was
me.
one of the ways you started. You kind of started with one of those.
Yeah, I started with one of
Okay.
those, and I had to choose which of these were best presentable, so we can get
Okay.
the idea. Yeah, that's what I did.
All right.
That's
So
how
okay.
I prepared my outline. Yeah,
Right. Gotcha. So then you just went from there and kind of.
yeah.
So you went
I
to other verses, I'm sure.
I carefully chose which was which I thought was better, which I thought was
Right. So
best.
I'm just reading this verse. Um, I know you guys use a lot of versions, and that's fine. I was just wondering, what's your favorite ones? Like, do you like the ESV? Like, what's your first or second choice in a version? Like, what would it be?
To me, mine would be the cousin of KJV, which is the Young's literal translation.
YLT. Okay, got it. And then what's the other one
Yeah.
you guys like? Do you like the ESV too, or not?
The ESB is fine, but I'm more. Well, Well, hang on. Well, recently I've been more on the NASB and the. Hang on, what was that other one? Yeah, also the Septuagint. Yes, that's like
Okay,
closest
so
to
you
me.
like the NASB. Which version do you like for the NASB? Do you like the 1977, the 20, or the
The
95 or whatever?
1977, that is like closest to the old, which there were less
Okay,
errors on it. Yeah,
so you like the 1977 NASB. All right.
yeah. I mean, in this case, older is better when it comes to the
They don't have
NASB.
that one on Blue Letter Bible. They just got the 20 and the 95.
Mm. There's
That's why I
even an
was asking.
AS. There's even an ASB without the
Hmm.
N in it. It's much more older, but
Okay.
doesn't really matter.
Right. So I'm on Bible Hub and I'm looking at comments. Well, actually, I didn't do it right because it just defaults to Genesis 1:1. But I guess you can type in Proverbs 17:27 in the search engine too, without going down that drop list.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I use the quick navigation or the drop list because
Right. Right. That's
I mean, I
fine.
get more specific with it.
Yeah. 17:27.
Mhm.
And which commentary do you like? Ellicott's, Benson, Cambridge? Which one's your favorite? Like a couple favorites, maybe. I don't know.
Mm, recently, I'm in love with Ellicott, Pulpit, and Biblical Illustrators because you
Ellicott.
have a you have like a multi subtopical commentaries under the same topic.
Okay. Is that a one? Is that one in and of itself? The Ellicott pulpit? Where is that one?
So okay, you'll find Ellicott commentaries on the English exposition. Pulpit
Mhm.
commentary is on the exegetical, the original languages.
Oh, okay. So you'd have to go to like the Masoretic text or whatever.
Hmm.
But in regards
But
to just, sorry,
go
go
on.
ahead. You like Ellicott's commentary for English readers? You like that one? Is that the one
Yeah,
you meant?
that's what I like more. I think Ellicott is more eloquent in that one. Plus,
Okay.
I mean, you could tell that he's been. You could tell that Ellicott is really particular with the literature, both
Right.
on the rendering and the original languages too. So that's the strength of Ellicott, and what he did was really good because he made it available to us in English layman terms.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I like.
Proverbs 7, and then, oh no, 17 you did. Now, when I click on Proverbs 17, it just takes me right there to the
Mhm.
commentary. It didn't give me a chance to click a verse on the drop time. Has that ever happened to you? Why did it do that?
No, because maybe you're not in the parallel tab. You're on the commentary tab. You got to click
Oh,
on the
okay.
parallel tab.
All right. Yeah, I don't know everything about Bible Hub. That's good enough. I don't want to belabor the point. Let me see. You got to click on the parallel tab
Don't
before you
worry,
click.
don't worry,
be-
don't
Before
worry,
you
Dave.
click
You'll
on the
get used
drop
to
down,
it.
I see. I see how that works.
Yeah. You'll get
Gotcha.
used to it, Dave. You'll just need to scrutinize that website
No, but
more.
I know
But
everybody. There's a lot of people that use this, so I was just kind of trying to get a general idea.
mhm,
But you can't choose two verses. You can only choose one at a time, right? Like 27 or 28.
yeah, I mean, you could
Okay.
share two verses, but you'll have to open another window and window after window.
Right.
Yeah.
So then okay,
I
so then
mean,
you start with the parallel tab and then you went to the comment tab.
yes, to
Gotcha.
get my commentaries. Yeah,
And
those
you
are
like
my sources.
Ellicott's commentary for English readers primarily when you're looking at English.
Yeah, pulpit commentary.
You like pulpit commentary too? Okay.
Yeah, for exegeticals and Ellicott for the exposition because
Right.
Ellicott also renders the exegetical and for a multi subtopical English commentary that would be biblical illustrators.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's something else. Biblical Illustrators comes in from when you got to go to something else. What do you call that? Lexicon?
Lexicon is deals with the Hebrew and Greek. Yeah,
Okay.
you'll find terms of that one too.
All right.
Interlinears too. It will take you directly to the Strong's Concordance too. So if you want a more exhaustive laying out of a certain word,
Yeah, that's
you
good
can.
enough for now. I don't want to I don't even, yeah, I just need the basics for now. I'll ask you more later because I don't even understand how to use it yet. Bible Hub completely. I don't even actually I don't even use all that's there on Blue Letter Bible. I just use the basics. So there's a lot on there I don't know either. It's probably a lot of commentary there, but there's not as many versions
Mm-hmm.
over there on Blue Letter Bible as there is here. They just have a finite amount, and here on Bible Hub they have more of an exhaustive amount. I think even on Bible Gateway they got more. They got a whole ton of them on Bible Gateway, but that's set up different too. So they're all a little bit different.
You want to know something else I also found here? Let me share the screen because I've
Mm-hmm.
also found some things here too. Um, there's also like external biblical literature here. So if you're looking at the screen, this is the main page of Bible Hub. So what I want to
Right.
do is go down here and press where is it? Bible study tools. I go here. I scroll down here and I
Yeah.
find well, you have everything here: concordance, devotions, interwoven, interlinear. But what I want to show you right now is where is it? The library. The
Let me know
library.
which. Let me know which icon it is because I can't see your. Oh, it's called Bible Library. Okay, I'll look at that. I
Yeah,
got
hang
it.
on. I'll go back to the.
I'll
I'll go
find
back
that.
to the main page. Yeah, here it is. Library. The bunch of
But you
books
got to
I
go to their
got.
front page. You got to go to their front page to see it, which is just click on Bible Hub. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, I see
the
that.
main
Okay.
page. Yeah, the main page. That's the
I'm in there
library.
now. I'm in Bible Library. Okay.
Yeah. So and then you'll so I mean, God bless these people because the books that many scholars are reading, it's also or the ones that are made by scholars, it's made available to us for free here. So we have right now you have the uniqueness of Jesus Christ, evidence for historical Jesus, dealing with doubt, the Thomas factor, and you even have a bunch of books from the early church fathers. Look at this. That's a lot here.
Wow. How'd you get all that? Wait,
Yeah.
let me go back there. Bible Library. What'd you click on after Bible Library to get that?
Just press Bible library and then just scroll down.
How far down did you scroll? Because you
Just
went real
just
fast. It's like lagging, and I can't see where you're. If you could just slow down and show me where you're going to click on your mouse. Don't click it. Just show me, and then I'll know.
okay, hang on. Let me go back. Let me just go back. So this is the main page, right?
No, I know that. That I know. Go down. You can go back to where you were with all those links. I know how to get in the library.
Yeah.
Right, but I was asking you which specific one you were looking at in that list.
Oh, yeah. What I
Because
was
I'll tell you
looking
why. Here's why I got to ask you because it lags sometimes your mouse and I can't see what you're clicking on. So I got you just slow down and then let it appear. Which one was it?
hang on.
Because you got
Let me
Justin and
try
all these
to
different names.
zoom it in better.
Clement.
I'm gonna zoom it in better. There you go. Is that could you see it
You actually
now
got
better?
Theophilus. Go down to where it says Theophilus.
Yeah, Theophilus is here. Yeah, I thought
Who's
Theophilus of
that? Is that
Autolycus.
the guy that is that is that the guy that Luke wrote to? You think?
Yeah, that's the guy that Luke wrote to in Acts 1 and Luke 1.
So they actually got
And
his commentaries from way back when.
yeah, his numerous chapters contains small letters battle polemicizing against heresies and paganism. So
Why
and
can't I
so
find
there's this guy named
Theophilus on my list?
Autolycus, a raging pagan heretic. And here Theophilus is
Oh, there.
telling him that,
They
dude,
don't
just
have it
go to
in
church.
general. They don't necessarily have it in alphabetical order. I don't know why. Hmm.
Me too. I can't even make peace with that too. And you have Irenaeus right
Theophilus.
now. What I'm looking at in his work is against heresies. You'll find, heck, you will even find free grace in this one. Against heresies, you'll find free grace in that too.
So my question is, with this Theophilus link, and there's all these different chapters, like 30 chapters in Roman numerals. He's writing to Autolycus or something, book one, and then you got book two, and you got all these different links. Um,
Hmm.
is this something?
Autolycus.
Because it doesn't give you a date when this was written or whatever, but this must be translations of commentaries because in those days they didn't write English, obviously. right?
Yeah,
Back when.
that is basically application of what they learned in scripture.
No, I know that, but here's what I'm asking you. So when you click on Theophilus to Autolycus or Autolycus or whatever, um, Autolycus, an idolater and scorner of Christians,
Hmm.
this wasn't originally written in English. It couldn't be because Theophilus, back when Luke wrote to him, was way, way before the English language even
Yeah,
existed.
this had to be translated.
That's what I was asking. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry.
So they don't really give you a circa AD date as to when this guy wrote this stuff necessarily. Wonder if a
Maybe
guy
it's in
can.
the introductory note. Hang on.
Could
I'm
be.
gonna go take a look at it. Here it is.
Yeah.
You click on the
Oh, you found it? Let me
introductory
look
note.
at your screen. Translated
There
to the
it is.
Reverend Marcus, AD 115. Where'd you find this? Go.
I
Uh,
clicked on the book, right, and then I have your title page and introductory note.
okay. Introductory notes.
Yes, and
Good. Okay, I'll go
yeah.
back. Okay, got it.
So
Got
it's
it. Got it. Got it.
so it's right here.
Wow, look at that. So that was written 80, 115, 168, 181 ish.
Very recent. It's a whole lot more recent.
Yeah, then 80, 64 around the Paul epistles, but not that far behind it. It's just only like
Hmm.
another 50 years or so, 50 or 60 years generally, 70
Hmm.
years, 100 years, 60, probably about what? Realistically, about 40 to 120 years time, but obviously he didn't live that long.
Hmm.
So that's when what's the 80, 115, 168, 181 mean? I'm not really sure. Um,
It's like he's born 15 years after the first century, and then he starts this work um, just about 43 years after, and then he either finishes it or just dies um, less than 20 years after, I guess. So yeah, and the one who translated it there is named Reverend Marcus Dodds. There you go.
have you ever heard of
Now,
the Prolegomena of his annals? What's that mean? There's all different fancy stuff here.
mm,
There's a lot to talk about here, isn't there?
yes, this is how you know that these people were really working hard to present their application in scripture.
So you could really give. I mean, this is really something to go comb through. There's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of things that we could speak about, I suppose, in regards to these early theologians and apologists. Huh.
Mhm. Yeah, you know what? You're right. These were the early apologists of
Mm-hmm.
the uh, the time of the resurrection. Like within that gap,
I'm
there.
curious since we've been talking so much about the gospel
Mhm.
in 1 Corinthians 15, 1 through 4.
Mhm.
I wonder if a guy would start with that drop down menu. Let's see, how do you do that again? You go to parallels first, and then you go to
You
First Corinthians. I'm
even
going to
have
try that.
here the
I'm going to go to
Nicene
First
imposed.
Corinthians. I'm going to go to First Corinthians. Well, you can't go 1 through 4, but you can.
Then you'll
Let's see,
set church fathers, not the early ones, but during the Nicene and post Nicene fathers.
15,
Nicene Creed. You have
1,
Augustine, Basil, Siler, Hilary, Ambrose,
comment. Yeah.
Clementine literature, Apocrypha. Here you go. Acts and Martyrdom of Saint Matthew the Apostle, Acts and Martyrdom of the Holy Apostle Andrew, Matthias. Yeah, I mean Thecla and Peter and Andrew, Evangelist John the theologian,
Oh, I see.
Thaddeus,
When you go to
Thomas.
library, you can't bring up. I'm sorry to interrupt you. When you go to library, you don't pick a verse and start getting a commentary. These are all different. The library was different. These are all books and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, the library is different. Yeah, and the
Yeah.
passing of Mary, Lord's mother. Apologetics also essay evidences. I think you'll find all sorts of stuff here. It's a rainbow of things here.
Right.
So this is interesting. I mean, kudos. I mean, thank kudos to these people. Thank God for people that, in His good pleasure, these are things that can be made available to us. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really thank God for Bible Hub. Really,
I'm a
it's
conservative
like
listener.
it's one of those things that you want to get your hands on, but feels like you never can because maybe you have to go somewhere else. But little did I know there was Bible Hub. So yeah, have that
Did
going on.
did you look at Proverbs 7:11 at all?
Yep.
Check that verse out once on Bible Hub. I'm going to do it too. Proverbs 7:11. Where is it? Where did I go here? Bible Gate. Got Bible Hub rather. I got to go back to the front page, right to the parallel. Yep,
Mm,
one of the front pages. I'm calling it that for lack of a better term. I'm going to go to Proverbs
mm,
7:11,
mm.
and then that brings up parallel verses in all these different versions. So it says, I got it right here.
Well,
Wait a minute, did I
you'll
get the
get
right?
used to it. Then. Well, I'll let you scrutinize that website for a bit. I'm ready to wrap this up. So, final words, Dave.
Yeah, I'm just studying out loud. That's okay, no problem. I just want to. I mean, I went to the wrong place. I think. Hold on. I went to the wrong verse. I went to Proverbs instead of Psalms. I was supposed to go to Psalm 7:11.
Right.
God is a righteous judge who displays His wrath every day, angry with the wicked every day, feels indignation every day. God is a righteous judge. God who feels indignation each day. God's angry every day. Every day He's angry. Check out Psalms. I meant to say Psalm 7:11. I inadvertently said Proverbs.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a look. Yeah, just let me give it a look. See, doodle.
Psalm 7:11.
Let me give it a look. See, doodle.
I'm gonna check the commentary on this one out too.
Psalms 7:11.
How come
This
they call the
being
translation the 70 LXX and there's more of them than 70?
well, okay. That part I didn't really look into.
Okay, no
There's a
problem.
lot of weird stuff here that I don't even know.
Does Kenny still do videos on that one channel, or did I lose his subscription? Or he just hasn't been around in a while.
He hasn't been around for a while. I mean, for all I know, is he's just taken time off with his family. So
Mm-hmm. Is he still in West Virginia?
probably, I'm not
Okay.
sure.
I was wondering because I haven't seen him in a while.
I
Once
think
in a while, he used to come stop by my chat room, but he hasn't been there in about 3 weeks or so now.
I think he's just done with the YouTubes and stuff. I mean, it's better that way, so that he'd be spared from.
I might even take a break from it myself. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it'd probably do me good.
God is an honest judge. He is angry with the wicked every day. Yep, he's always angry with the unrighteous. Cross referencing what we can relate to this verse. Psalms 11:7. For the Lord is righteous, he loves justice, the upright will see his face. So every day he hates the wicked, the godless, and he loves the righteous, and he will uplift them. And the heavens proclaim his righteousness. So here's a reason, or for all our days decline in your fury, we finish our years with a sigh. There's so he has every reason to be angry with the wicked. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord 7:8. The Lord shall judge the people. Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness. That also means the other side of that. And according to mine integrity that is in me.
Mm-hmm.
Integrity. Yeah, what kind of integrity and right or degree of righteousness do you possess? Is it the kind where God is angry with every day? Hope not. See, there's plenty here. There's plenty of you to look into.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Dave, I'm ready to wrap this up. I'm gonna go to bed, so I'm gonna
All right,
leave
man.
you
Get some
to
sleep. Oh, it's late.
organize
That's
what
right. You
goes
got the different time. Sorry about that. Get some sleep. I'll probably go back to bed here too. Have a good one, man. Talk to you later.
on. God bless you, brother. Talk to you
All right,
later.
you too. Take care.
Take care. Well, that was a productive. That was a very productive stream, and I hope you guys got something out of it. I appreciate you guys chiming in here. Thank you, Dave, for coming in. Thank you, Christian Carpenter, for coming in. Thank you, Jesse Campion, for coming in. I hope you guys enjoy these things, and I will do more of this. I'm gonna try to do this 2 to 3 times a week, and I do ask that you pray for. You know what? I'm just gonna chime in Discord and put in a prayer request because I don't want people, getting involved in this. So anyway, yeah, thank you for chiming in. So, lesson for today, guys: it is ethical to be silent and it's ethical to be silent and silence with context. That although you may be a fool deep down, but you will be regarded wise if you keep your mouth shut. Or they will say that was the wise thing to do. Or even if it doesn't make you wise per se, then at least you can hide the fact that you are a fool, or people won't regard you as a fool. It is better to have people think you're a fool. It is better to keep your mouth shut than to have people think you're a fool, and to have people think you're a fool than to remove all doubt. So yeah, be be slow to speak. No, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Do not fuel the hastiness of your mind, but rather learn to be quiet and learn to listen, that you may say something substantial and something that is not and not something that is amiss. Weigh your words, people. Assess things. All right? And it's ethical too. Knowing what to say, what not to say, knowing when and when not to say it, and knowing how to construct your words properly. Thank you guys for chiming in. Don't take your salvation for granted and take your sanctification seriously. And I am signing out in 3, 2, 1.